Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, as always, and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening and watching and subscribing and commenting. All of your amazing energy is coming towards me, and I'm just so grateful to receive it and to contain it within myself and then send it back out again by doing these videos more and more every single day. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about INFJs and how we have this tendency to shut ourselves up. I do that a lot to myself. I'll give you a quick example to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Recently, I went to this art therapy session, workshop. It was run by an art therapist, a psychologist, a trained psychologist. And I thought it was brilliant because, she's actually trained in this method and she's used it several times all around the world or all over the place. And she decided to do this workshop for really cheap, and I wanted to take advantage of it, so I went. It's in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I love Chiang Mai for that because all these interesting people are sharing all this knowledge for really cheap, and it makes all of this knowledge available without any boundaries, which I really appreciate about this city. So then I'm sitting there and I'm doing my thing, and we're doing our art and we're talking about our stuff, and I noticed that there are two aspects to me. Like, there's two different ways I kind of deal with these situations. Now, of course, I hate sharing things about myself. I absolutely despise it. I don't want to talk about myself. I want to talk about other people. I want to talk about them and keep all the conversations to them. But sometimes I go into these modes where I'm feeling really good about myself. I'm feeling good about the world in general. I feel grounded. I feel safe. I feel secure. Something good happened perhaps, whatever it might be, and I feel like I am comfortable and safe enough to share in that environment. And this environment felt, because I had had a really good day, I had done a really good session earlier, and I felt really grounded, I had some good yoga, I had walked, whatever it might be, there's a bunch of things contributing to it, but I felt good, and I felt like, okay, cool, I think I can share in this group, I can actually talk about the stuff that I'm talking about, I can actually pontificate on the different topics that we're talking about. I can actually ask questions and reciprocate and do all that stuff. I can actually have a conversation, right? Not only just replying to questions, but actually doing a back and forth. I was excited about it. I was excited to go forth and do this. But of course, what happens as an INFJ, as an individual, I guess because our intuition is so powerful, we're putting stuff out there that's actually pretty intense and pretty deep. And so I kind of realized certain things about the people in the group, and I put it out there because I thought it might be interesting to share. And I realized as I was doing it, as I was talking about them or telling them something or telling something about myself, I was feeling like, oh shit. I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? Why am I talking so much? Why am I talking so much? Shut up. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking, Shikha, stop talking, stop talking. But my mouth, it keeps on moving and making these words, and all these words keep on pouring out over and over again while my head wants to freaking shut the hell up, right? And so there's these two parts to me. Sometimes I'll just sit there and be like, oh, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to say anything, and I say maybe 3 words in the entire workshop. And I go to workshops like that and they're like, you're really quiet. And I'm like, I'm not in the sharing mood, or I just don't feel comfortable. Sometimes I'll go to a workshop and I'll be like this person who just does not shut up and who keeps on talking, and all I can think to myself in my head is like, please stop talking, Shikha, please just stop talking. Afterwards, I feel obviously a lot of regret and a lot of embarrassment because I think to myself, what was wrong with me? Why did I talk so much? It's not because the conversation that we're having is difficult in any way for us. I don't think it's difficult. I think it's important to have these conversations. But I do notice that some of the things that I would say about people around me, I would notice certain things. I noticed that this person was really sad and depressed, and I could tell that instantaneously from their energy. And so I brought it up in a nice way. I didn't actually say, you seem really sad or depressed. I kind of brought it up in a different manner. I said, your heart seems like you have some joy in there, but there's also a lot of sadness in there. Or what is that about? I was just interested, is that represented in the art that you're drawing? Or something like that. I said something to that effect. And it's funny because that person really felt it. They felt what I said, and that's when I know that I need to shut up, because perhaps, mostly actually, in most situations, people are not open to the idea of receiving all of this deep, intense knowledge about themselves, right? I mean, we see someone and we're like, oh, this is how they are. but they themselves might have no idea that that's how they are, right? Like they might look at you and be like, oh really, that's what you think of me? And that's so obvious to you and to everyone else around you probably, but for that person, they're like, I had no idea that that was the case, right? And so a lot of people are really ignorant about themselves actually. Like they haven't done perhaps the self-work, or they haven't worked on themselves, they don't journal perhaps, or they don't meditate, or they just don't spend the time learning about who they truly are or what they truly want from their lives. And so they are a little bit ignorant about themselves, which means that when as INFJs we kind of put out stuff like this into the atmosphere and we tell them, oh, this is what you're doing, and they suddenly realize the truth, it can actually be very scary for those individuals. And this is what I felt like when I went to this workshop and I was saying all these things and I was kind of having these conversations with people. I felt a lot of them clam up, or I felt a lot of them feel like they were being attacked perhaps, or they were, not that I was trying to attack them or anything, I wasn't trying to do anything negative to them, I was just sharing something. And if someone shared something about me, I'd be really happy as well, because I want to learn more about myself. But most people are not in the same boat as us. They don't really care about self-growth and self-development as much as we do, right? They just want to complain. The truth is, most people just want to vent about all the terrible things that are going on in their life. They just want to complain about everything that's going on in their life. And that's it. I mean, that's where it stops. That's where the buck stops, if you want to call it. They don't actually want to go beyond that. They don't want to take the step forward and be like, all right, cool. So my life sucks right now. This is what's going on with me, or I hate myself in this manner. So what am I going to do about it? Am I going to go to yoga and try to love myself? Am I going to start meditating or journaling, or am I going to go to a therapist, or am I going to do this or that? They don't actually kind of take that next step forward to kind of realize or to change that aspect of themselves. If I hate myself, I'm not just going to hate myself for the rest of my life. No way is that going to happen. If I hate my knees, I'm going to make sure that I do anything and everything possible to make sure that my knees are beautiful and I start loving them, right? But that's not how most of society thinks. And so I'll be sitting there and thinking to myself, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up. But I don't. Because once I start talking, once the dam has been opened, once the dam has burst, it is burst, man. It's gone, it's open, and all of my thoughts and ideas and feelings are just out in the open, and I'm just blurting all this stuff out, and I think to myself, please, please let the dam be closed again. Plug it dam up again. Plug the dam up again. Please plug it up again, because I can't do this anymore. If I keep on talking, all these people are going to think I'm crazy. But also, at the end of it, when I was walking out, I was so embarrassed because I brought up all of this stuff that was embarrassing for them, and I could feel their embarrassment. I could feel their discomfort with the situation. And I was thinking to myself, why did I do this to them? Some people are not ready for it. Why did I have to do that? Why do I have to force people to go into situations or to learn more about themselves when they really don't give a rat's ass about it? They don't care. They don't want to learn more about themselves. They're happy being who they are, complaining about the way things are, and not changing anything. So why do I have to be this person that has to go in and poke holes into things like that? Like, why? And so I was walking home from that workshop and I was thinking to myself, never again, boom, never again, Shikha, never, you're never going to a workshop again. And I always say this every single time this kind of thing happens. I always think to myself, never. You're not allowed to go to these workshops anymore. You're not allowed to say anything in any of these workshops anymore. You have to keep your mouth shut. You're not going to say anything. You're not going to do anything. But then I think to myself, if I'm not going to go to these workshops, then I'm going to miss out. I mean, I learned so much from them. But if I go to a workshop and I don't say anything, I don't converse or integrate myself into it, then what's the point? Why am I going to this workshop then? Why am I sitting there like an automaton or a zombie when I'm not going to contribute anything to the conversation? Just because our contributions are so freaking powerful that they change everything, what can we do about it? It's just the way it is, unfortunately. That's the world we live in. That's the kind of person we are. Whenever we go into this kind of situation, we are transformational. We cause transformation, right? Because we know so much and our intuition is so powerful. It's actually really scary sometimes. I was sitting, we were in the workshop, and for one of the girls, I drew that she had a cat. I didn't know how I knew that. She didn't have any cat hair on her. And anyway, so this female, I drew a cat for her. And so afterwards, she asked me, she's like, who drew this? Because people didn't know exactly who drew what. And I was like, oh, I drew that cat for you. And she's like, but why? And I'm like, well, I think you have a cat. I think you have a dog. I think you like taking care of things. And this is the first time I met this lady. I've never met her before, you know, but this is the first impression. This is the first thing I drew, is by intuition. And then later when she started talking about herself, you know, she's like, oh, my cat's really sick, and my dog he died last year, things like that. And so all of this stuff she was talking about, the cat was the main thing. And I was thinking to myself, how did I even know? So that's the thing about our intuition. We don't really know, and the stuff that we're speaking is more powerful than we actually realize. We have to be really careful with it. Words are powerful, but our intuition is so freaking powerful. That has ideas, it has knowledge that we have no idea where it's coming from. And so when we're putting out all this stuff and into this atmosphere and into the people's minds, we have to be careful, because we might be saying things that are hurtful without us wanting to be hurtful. I didn't want to be hurtful. I didn't want to embarrass people. I didn't want to attack people. I'm just sharing stuff that I thought I knew, or that I wanted to talk about. But from their perspective, you know, it might be scary to them to hear all this stuff, for them to hear all this stuff. And I don't want to scare people. And so I kind of go through these two modes where I'm like, just shut up, just say everything, just shut up, just say everything. Anyways. Anyways, I just think it's funny when I go through this. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? So I thought I'd share. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you're laughing at me, that's fine. You can laugh at me, because I laugh with myself a lot. With myself, at myself. If you guys have any questions at all about this, about any other topic, please let me know. I'm always here to answer your questions, obviously. All my contact information is in the description below. And I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.